Guys, welcome back to Southern Extreme TV. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on my channel today. We are going to be talking about a new product that just released from AGM, and it is the AGM Neith Night Vision Scope. So I'm super excited to talk about this product with you guys. This is something that I really enjoy doing, and I really like bringing different perspectives of gear and equipment that you can use in your hunting arsenal. And I think night vision is one of those things that it's almost a I ain't gonna say it's a lost art, but it's almost one of those things that goes kind of to the wayside with the big influx of thermal imaging scopes that's out there on the market. And you know, thermal imaging and quality thermal imaging is going to cost a pretty heavy amount of money, and sometimes that can be very difficult for somebody who either doesn't know if they want to jump completely in with 2 feet into the night hunting industry. You know, maybe they don't have the opportunity to go and hunt as often to justify that amount of money. And if some of those things kind of fall into your category, night vision is a great way to get you started into that night hunting industry. And then also it's a great way for somebody who maybe already has thermal imaging, but doesn't or cannot afford or doesn't want to afford a second thermal imaging scope for you to take a buddy or your dad or your son or whoever. Night vision is a great affordable option for you guys to go and have somebody else go with you and have 2 guns where both people can go and enjoy the outdoors and this great sport of night hunting. So I'm super excited to bring this type of review to Southern Extreme TV. I want to thank AGM. AGM sent this out to me to do kind of an open box testing and review and to do an honest review on it. I mainly want to go over the key features and what is included in this package from AGM and kind of give you my first impression unboxing of this thing. So to get started, let's just go ahead and peel this box open. And I mean, obviously I did open this thing yesterday. I did take the batteries out and charge it just so that way I could start familiarizing myself with it before I just came in here blind. But you have this really nice carry case, which is kind of a really neat option. And at first, in my opinion, when I first seen it, I was like, well, that's kind of odd for them to give you a nice carrying case like that, because typically this is a weapons mounted system. It's a scope made for nighttime hunting. So typically your optic is going to be mounted onto your firearm, and it's not going to be mounted in this case. However, there's one key aspect to this night vision scope that sets it apart from just about every other night vision scope out on the market, and this case is a really cool option. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. So first of all, you've got this really nice, cool, comfy pad that separates your scope and some of the other accessories that come with it. First of which, let's go ahead and just jump straight into this bad boy right here. So first initial impression of pulling this thing out of the box is it is lightweight. In comparison to, let's say, the ATN 4K night vision scope, it is super lightweight. It's super compact. It's really short, really small. It's got 3 buttons and a dial, and 1 dial is incorporated into 1 button. So your interface as far as usability on the side is super simple. So you don't have all these different types of buttons and adjustments that you've got to work with. So if you're new to these smart optics and these night vision scopes, then this is going to be very simple, I believe, for somebody to run, because it's very simple. You have a power on button, looks like you have a mode button, and then I'm assuming that this dial is going to be how you zoom in and zoom out, and probably scroll through some of the selection screens to get into your settings, to change your reticle color, reticle size, to zero the optic and everything else. So just kind of first impression, it's super lightweight, it's super compact. And one thing that is super neat about this scope is the fact that the IR illuminator is built into this scope. So if you guys have ran AGM or are familiar with AGM products, AGM makes a thermal imaging weapon mounted sight that is called the Rattler. And this is going to remind you a lot of that Rattler system. However, up here up top is going to be your IR light. So for the difference in your thermal imaging in your night vision scope, your night vision scope needs some type of additional light source to be able to see your targets downrange, and that is typically done with an infrared light. And just about every other IR or every other night vision scope that's out there on the market, you typically see this IR light being separated from the scope. So essentially you would typically see it, you have your scope mounted onto your weapon, and then somewhere out on your handguard or as a secondary clamp on the scope, then you have this almost a flashlight looking piece of equipment, and that is what you're using to illuminate the field or the woods or the terrain that you're wanting to look at. And that can be nice. You can buy some really nice aftermarket IR lights to really help enhance your field of view and really help enhance the clarity of what you're seeing downrange. But what is neat about this being built into this scope is now you have the option to carry this thing around as a scanner if you wanted to. So essentially you could turn this thing on, and without it being mounted onto your weapon, you can actually walk through the woods or walk out into your yard. You can check your cattle, you can check chickens, you can check sheep. You can walk around, maybe going into into the woods to deer hunt. You can use it to check your field to make sure you're not going to run deer out. You've got a lot of different options with this IR light being built into this scope, because now everything is right here together in a real small, short, lightweight, compact package, and that's really awesome. And then the good thing about it is, if you want to add an additional IR light out to the end of your AR or your bolt action rifle, you can still do that. And, you know, maybe you guys have our night vision scope already and you have an aftermarket IR illuminator. You can add that to this package and really help this thing bring out the detail from a very long ways away. So that's a really neat thing, and that's what I wanted to talk about with it coming with this nice carrying case. Is you don't have to mount this onto your weapon if you don't want to, or you have the option to take it on and off of your weapon, and you can put it right back into this carry case, and then you can take it into the woods with you. You can pack it up to go on an out-of-state trip. You can use it as a scanner. You can do a lot of different things. So really neat, just right out of the gate. Some of the first initial impressions of just looking at it, I think it's going to be really neat. You've got the opportunity to put in a battery, and they actually send you 2 batteries, and they are the 3632 DC. They send you 2 of these batteries, so that's really cool. And another thing that I like about these batteries that they send you is they send individual carrying cases with them, because if you're going to be going out into the field and you're going to be hunting a lot, you're going to want to take additional battery sources or additional power sources out into the field with you, and being able to have that little encapsulated battery pack, and you can just slide it into your side pocket, maybe into a hunting vest, whatever you're carrying into the woods. Super simple to carry. So what we'll do is just kind of want to walk through this just as if you guys made this purchase. So let's take a look here. It's got a very simple battery compartment up top. So it's a screw cap, and it has a nice little handy dandy holder there, so that way you're not fumbling trying to lose this cap out there in the woods. It has a battery indicator that shows you which end the positive end goes to. So we're just going to slide that in, and then we're going to just put this cap right back on there. So really cool. With the battery added on there, you can tell there's a little bit more weight to it. Obviously these batteries are big batteries, so they got a little bit of weight to them, but it's still a lot lighter than what the ATN scope is, and really lighter than any other night vision scope that I've seen out there on the market, which is really cool. So again, let's talk about the battery source, because if you're new to night hunting and you're new to the thermal and night vision realm, battery power and battery life is one of the biggest things and one of the high selling points of anything out there, in my opinion, because what you don't want to have to do is you don't want to have to go out and fight your scope or fight your device from sundown to sunup of changing batteries, worrying about charging it, and all these different things. So again, you got the 2 batteries that they send you, but the other cool thing about it is they give you a USB-C port, which allows you to connect a larger battery pack that a lot of people are going to be familiar with. If you're used to the old school ATNs, the first Thors that came out, they were actually powered by a external larger battery pack with a cord ran over here. And what that'll allow you to do is that will allow you to run one of those larger battery packs straight over to this device to power it, and you can run this bad boy from sundown to sun up and get a lot of battery life. So that's really cool that they incorporated that capability on this scope, along with the 2 rechargeable batteries to go along with it. So that way you would essentially have 3 battery sources out in the field with you at all times while you're hunting with this scope. So really good job there by AGM doing that. It's got a protective lens cap, which is super nice. I love the fact that a lot of companies, a lot of manufacturers now are building in this built-in lens protector on the front, because you know, night hunters are notorious for being super rough on gear, and especially us. I know we are just absolutely brutal on our stuff, so being able to have this little flip cap where it'll lock in place and I can flip it back out of the way, protects that lens, keeps it from getting scratched and dusty and everything else. So really cool option that they've got right there. And then obviously you've got your traditional focus rings on the front and the back. So you've got a focus ring on the back that will focus the actual internal screen to your eye, and then you have a actual adjustment ring on the front side that will actually bring in your target. It will bring it into focus just like a set of binoculars will. If it's 400 yards, you may have to make a little adjustment, and then if it's 50 yards, you may have to make that adjustment to make that image a little bit clearer. So very, very similar to everything else on the market right there, but super cool, super compact. Let's put this thing down for just a minute, because I think I've kind of hit on a lot of the high points just right off the gate, and let's dive into some of the other accessories that come with this AGM Neith Night Vision scope. So in this next panel, in this same pack, you're going to get a charging cable, which is I believe it's a USB-C, which is what you're seeing a lot of typical chargers going to. I know the GoPros the GoPros that I have, they charge on this same type of port. You've got a typical USB port on this end, so it'll plug into any iPhone, wall charger, computer, anything along those lines. So they give you one of those cables, which is super nice. And if you want to run that scope on an external battery pack, you can run from the battery pack to the scope with this cable as well. So kind of an all-in-one cable, which is really, really neat. You've got your wall plug in here, so your USB will plug in there, that will plug into the wall, and then this will plug into one of 2 different places. You can plug it into your scope, which can then charge the battery internally, or what I would recommend doing is, it's kind of going backwards, but also in this pack you are going to get this really nice, super duper fancy dual battery charger, which is super nice that you can charge both of these batteries at the exact same time instead of having to only charge one at a time. That's a huge, huge deal. So the other option is to take this USB-C, it plugs into that, this plugs into the wall. Now when you get done hunting at night, you take those 2 batteries, you put them in right there, and it'll let you know what percentage each of those batteries are at as far as their charge goes, and then you can take it out and go hunting again the next night. So battery charger is really, really neat. Glad that they included the dual battery charger. That's a big deal in my opinion. We've got another wall outlet, I'm assuming for possibly the overseas market. And then let's talk about another really good thing that they included. So AGM has included a weapons mount. So this is a cantilever Picatinny quick release style mount that I believe looks like it's made by American Defense, which is a super, super nice quality mount. This thing will actually mount, see if I can get it right here. So this thing will actually mount, let's see, I guess it goes somewhere in that direction there. So that way, when you mount this onto your weapon, it's going to be far enough back so that you're not having to lean forward. It's going to actually allow that scope to come back a little bit farther, closer to the buttstock, so you can really get your eye up against this eyepiece, black out all the external light that's around it, and just be real comfortable on that scope. So awesome job for them including a very high-end quality mount with this scope. That's one thing that's a little frustrating when, you know, you spend the money that it costs to own night vision optics and night vision gear in the market nowadays. Is you spend all that money, but then, you know, for you to go out and buy a quality scope mount or you know, type of rings, then you're looking at spending a lot more money to go on top of that. So to be able to have this all included in one package from AGM, it's almost a turnkey type of deal. That's super awesome in my opinion, because this is fitting into the guy who is looking to get into that night hunting realm, wants a budget-friendly option, or you're looking for that very, very good secondary option in case your thermal goes down, or if you want to bring somebody else out into the woods to hunt with you. So it's just glad that they thought about everything right there. So we've got the mount that goes with the scope, and we have got a cleaning cloth. I think just about every optical manufacturer out there now is sending a cleaning cloth with their optics, and then the rest is some paperwork. Do not return to store, return to AGM, just some warranty type stuff. Gives you some troubleshooting and support for customer service, which is really nice that AGM gives you that contact information there. For some crazy reason you do have an issue with this scope or you can't figure something out, give these guys a call and they can walk you through all the settings in the scope. I know if you've got family members that are similar to mine that might not be as quite tech savvy, sometimes these functions and the menu options on these scopes can be a lot to kind of take in and absorb in. So being able to call AGM and have those guys walk you through each of those steps on the scope to help you get it zeroed in, to help you get your reticle set up right, anything that you need like that, give those guys a call, and that's what that contact information is there for. We got one other thing. This is kind of going back to that carrying case. You get a real nice strap that goes with this carrying case. That way you can throw it over your shoulder if you're you know, if you're toting it in on a hunting trip. And again, I just think that it's a really neat option that the IR light is built in, because this just allows you to carry this night vision optic with you without it being mounted on a weapon system. That's just super, super cool. So that is it, I believe, that is in this box. I believe everything's out of there. Yep. So everything's out of there. We've got, just kind of a quick recap, we've got the scope, we've got 2 batteries, we've got the dual battery charger, we have the cantilever quick detach mount that will go onto this scope and then we'll attach to a Picatinny rail. So super nice, all around compact, cool little scope. First initial impressions, like I said, it's super lightweight, it's super compact, and I can't really say nothing else about it right now. We're gonna plan on running it on a couple different firearms just to test it out. We're gonna start it out with a little 22 and just see how this thing operates and how it functions. But just right out of the gate, it is a pretty nice scope. I did get it out last night and kind of played around with it in the yard, looking through some stuff, and I've got a range right here that I can shoot close to 100, 150 yards, and I know I've got some steel plates and steel targets, and just with the IR illuminator that's built into the scope, not even with an external IR light, I was able to see perfectly fine right down there, which is super neat. And then another cool thing about this night vision scope, just in playing with it the little bit that I did last night, is it offers the picture-in-picture capability. I know since we have started running some Pulsar equipment over the last little bit, that PIP is a huge deal, and AGM is one of those companies that offers the PIP, as some people call it, picture-in-picture, and I don't know of another PIP that is available in a night vision scope. If there is one, I'm not aware of it, but this is super, super nice that you have that option. And if you guys are not familiar with what picture-in-picture means, basically imagine you're looking through your typical deer hunting rifle or target practicing rifle, and just imagine in the very top of it you have a smaller picture that is actually zoomed in a little bit farther. So what you can do is, while you're scanning with your base magnification, which is 1 power on this thing, it goes 1 power, I think it goes 1, 2, 4, and 8. Let me make sure I'm right here. It's technically a 2.5 by 20 magnification, but it goes into stages, and I'll have to get you guys an official down there on the bottom for what that is. But it's a 2.5 by 20. Now I think it goes in increments of 1, 2, 4, 8, or something along those lines. Just a really cool option. So whenever you're scanning on one power, and then let's say that you have a coyote or a fox, or let's say you have something come into range that you want to shoot, instead of having to reach up here and zoom in, you already have that smaller picture up above your main crosshair that is already zoomed in and has a crosshair in it. So all you got to do is just settle that crosshair on what you're wanting to shoot. You don't have to adjust any knobs, you don't have to do anything like that. You're just automatically on him, set your point of impact, and squeeze the trigger and let it go off. So really neat that they let you do that. Reticle options, there's a bunch of different reticle options and styles. I know some people like the old school traditional, some people like just the 3 lines, some people like a dot. They've got a lot of different options. They got a lot of different color palettes for the reticles. And then the other really neat thing about this is it may be a night vision scope, but the awesome thing about it is actually a daytime scope as well. So you have a mode, remember this mode button that I showed you guys earlier on in the video? You can filter through what mode this scope is in. You can go from night mode over to day mode very easily with just a click of a button. And what that essentially does is it will, when you're in night mode, it will turn on this IR light automatically. So it'll start illuminating everything downrange for what you're trying to see. And your picture will turn to black and white essentially. But then when you move it over into daytime mode, when you're looking through the scope, it will look exactly like a regular daytime scope. So trees will be green, brown, grass is going to be green. You can see everything just like you're seeing it right now with your natural eyes. And then that is the beauty, because you can also use this scope for deer hunting, squirrel hunting, groundhog hunting, prairie dog shooting, whatever the heck you want to use it for. That you would typically use a normal daytime scope for, you can do that with this night vision scope, which is super neat, because now you're not only making an investment into night vision and nighttime hunting technology, but you're also going to have the capability of using this scope in the daytime as well. So you're not necessarily investing the full amount into all night vision. You're still able to take this thing out, go squirrel hunting, go target practicing. You let your kids run it, let your kids shoot with it. It's super nice, super cool, and it's got built-in recording. So whenever you start recording, it has a built-in memory card. You can plug this thing up to a computer, or I don't know if AGM has got an app yet or not. I'll have to do some digging on that. But I know for a fact it has some internal built-in memory, so that way when you start recording, you can go back and you can watch your hunts, and you can see your shot placement, you can see everything that happened, which is super neat. Nowadays, being able to go back and watch that hunt and reminisce and talk about the good times that you had, that's a big deal. And it's technology and capabilities that I wish I had growing up as a kid, but now as an adult, I'm even more happy, because I know what it was like to not have those capabilities, and now to have it. So just an awesome little small compact scope. That's some of the highlights and some of the higher points of this thing, just off the 1 or 2 hours that I messed around with it, inside my house and in the yard last night. And just my first initial impression of it, I think this right here is going to take the market by storm. I think the affordability of this scope, I think the customer service that AGM is offering, and I think just the simplicity of this scope is the things that's going to separate it from some of the other ones on the market. So if you guys are new into the night hunting or the night vision realm and you've got some questions, feel free to shoot me a message on my social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. YouTube, drop a comment down below. I'll try to answer any and all questions that I can. Sometimes it's hard to get back to everybody, but I'll do everything I can to answer any questions. If you've got any questions specifically about this AGM night vision scope here, the new Neith, one of two options. You can reach out to AGM directly, let them know that you've seen this video from Southern Extreme TV. They'll be more than happy to help you guys out, answer any questions that you might have that maybe I didn't go over in today's video. And just a super cool little deal, and I'm just super excited that I could bring you guys this review of this new night vision scope. So if you're in the market looking for something, give Neith a look from AGM. I think you guys are going to absolutely enjoy this little old thing, and I think the ways you can use it are almost endless. So that's it for today's video. There's going to be some more videos coming out with this thing. We'll do some target practicing, some zeroing, and we'll let you guys actually take a look at what it looks like at night. This is kind of the first initial preliminary overlook of the scope, but first initial impressions, I absolutely love it. I think you guys are too. So if you're new to Southern Extreme TV, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are trying to grow this thing to 100,000 subs. Every click gets me a little bit closer. Be sure to share this video as well. That helps us get out in front of new viewers and just kind of, you know, pick up some new followers. So with that being said, thank you so much for hanging out with me on today's video. Go pick you up at AGM Neith and go have some fun. See y'all next time.